Hi, this is Tom White, and I want to talk to you about which rental home is right for you. This is one of the big questions that I always hear is which rental home is right for you. And I really think it depends a lot of times for your personality and your background. I highly recommend if you're a general contractor, if you're a handyman, then getting a little older property, you can really find some good value because you can do a lot of the repairs at cost. And if you're really comfortable, I think that getting a home that's a little older can be a good thing for you because you can always be over the maintenance. Now, the other thing is if you don't have any experience about that, and you're planning on just farming that out or letting somebody else do the handyman stuff on that, then I recommend that you get a newer home. And what do I mean by a newer home? I would probably get a home that's built in the last, say, 10 years. I wouldn't buy a brand new home, but I would buy something that's probably 10 years old, 15 years old, something like that, or maybe 5 years old. I think that you can get some really good value, and I think that those homes aren't going to wear out very much. So that's the first thing that I have. The second thing that I have is whether you manage the house on your own or you let somebody else manage it. Now, if you have a really management background, you're used to dealing with a lot of management, and you have time on your hands, this might be a good decision for you. So that's one thing that you have, and you can, if that's the case, you might get a home that's maybe not as expensive, so you have a good rent value. So traditionally, homes that are less expensive in San Antonio, they rent a little bit more than the price is, so you'll cover your mortgage. You really need to be very, very careful about this, and you have time on your hands, and you need to also have some good management experience. So if that's not the case, I recommend that getting a little bit more expensive home, more toward the medium price in San Antonio, so it's easy to rent out. And I recommend, according to the Millionaire Real Estate Investment book by Gary Keller, he recommends that you have a property management company. So I recommend a property management company, and I also recommend probably somebody doing repairs. And this is if you are busy and you don't have free time and you don't have management experience. If you do, then you might consider doing the management on your own. So those are the main focuses that I have. The other thing that I recommend for you, I'll see a lot of people that are starting to buy multiple rental properties, and they have a job and they just say, hey, maybe if I'm a realtor, if I'm a realtor, then I can buy more rental homes. And that really sounds great in practice. It really sounds good, but you really need the best way to really make a lot of money in real estate is to have a good paying job. And I hate to be so blunt about it, but you need to have a good paying job. And that way you have great credit, so you can get a very low interest rate, and you can push your rental properties if you need to pay a little more money, if you need to have something that doesn't have a great cash flow on it, then you can your high paying job can help your investments go for the first 5 years, which are could be a little rough. But then once they made it through those first 5 years, then you have wonderful investments giving you hopefully passive income, and then you've really done a great job. What you don't want to do, which I see a lot of people do, is they get into real estate. They had a high-paying job. Now they're an independent contractor. Their credit rating is not as good. They can't afford a house because of the money they make, and it's harder to get a loan. And then these people unfortunately end up buying a cheaper home, which has more repairs, and they can never really get off the ground. So make sure you work and hopefully have a great job to buy the rental home, and then make sure if you're not handy, then you sub that out and you buy a newer home. And if you're not a great manager or you don't have the time to manage tenants, then you probably want to sub that out. So hope that answers your questions. For area specific, let's talk about that and give me a call. Thank you so much.